All right, so let's talk about this one right here. This is again Daddy Freeze. They continued the conversation yesterday, and this young lady, she had a few things to say. So I wish I did the right thing, give him the proper credits. Let's keep going. Let's go.
Texas.
Yes.
And the story he told me, he struggled, got his visa from a company, and then came to, I think it was Maryland that they came to. And as soon as they got to Maryland, it wasn't too long after he was contracted by an American company. And just as soon as they were having a little struggle, he was paying all the bills, taking care of all of them. And as soon as they started to have a little struggle, it's like she just went gung ho on him, kicked him out of the house. He's a non-entity. He's not doing anything. He should leave. Let somebody better come in that can take better care of her, the wife, and the children. And he had to sleep in his car for 3 days. Then some Cameroonian, I think same church they were
What
going
tribe
to.
what tribe is he? Or what
I think he's from, where is Atiku from again? I think it's that area.
Adamawa?
I think somewhere, somewhere around, if I'm not mistaken, or close to, you know. And his wife is Yoruba, and
two Nigerians, a Nigerian couple. Oh wow.
Yes. And 3 months after being away from the family, he got a job. And when the wife was going to be kicked out is when the mother-in-law called, cursed him out, and told him he needs to go and pay for the wife and children. So when he called the wife to find out what was going on, she said that he should come and pay the rent. He said, why should I pay the rent? You wanted me to leave so that somebody who has it together, who is in a better position than I am, come in, pay the rent, take care of all of us, the children and her. So he said, if it's a problem, give me my kids. This woman went to no extent. He was trying to file for his citizenship. She tried to block it. The mother reported him to the American. I mean, it was a mess. God's so good. He pulled himself together. He left. He went to Texas, started to build himself back up. And to God be the glory, he's doing fine. While in Texas, he himself is hearing horror stories of their brothers being kicked out of the house once the women are somewhat stable. You know, they're doing a little bit better. If the husband is having a little struggle, they don't.
All right, so some of you might think I'm playing that Oberyn for the woman who kicked them out. Actually, I'm playing the Oberyn sound effect for this lady that's talking right here. Okay, she's sharing a story. She's sharing a story. There's a lot of real life story like this out there, by the way. Let me first of all acknowledge that. Like a lot, okay? It's not majority of people though. Okay. You know, when you say a lot of people, it can be a lot and still not be majority. Okay. Majority of these issues can be they can always be traced back to these two things, number 3 and number 4. Expectations and unnecessary pride and ego. Okay. And shout out to Bola for gracing us with her presence. Like she said, ego, these things will pull out all types of, the ego will come out in all types of angles and different forms, you know. And one of the most difficult things to do is as a human being to recognize that, hey, this is ego that's playing out here, you know. But ladies, you can see here, this is a woman right here. And apparently this woman is also separated from her husband, the one that's talking right now, after listening to her long enough. But here she goes, she's talking about this one story. But let's keep going. I just wanted to interject really quickly right there. He got kicked out. He arrived in Texas and he continued to hear the same type of story. Well, let me tell you something. If you experience something like that, guess what kind of echo chamber you're going to find yourself? Where other people are talking about this. What? Misery loves what? Misery loves company. That doesn't mean that this is the majority of the time is happening. Again, I'm here to highlight to you that you can actually create better stories for yourself. That's all I want to do at the end of the day. Okay, we'll pull you inside. We know what kind of stories you're chasing around, but we also want to highlight to you that there are people like Uncle Ade, like Brother Patrick, like myself, like Bola, that are absolutely creating the life that they want with a partner that's on the same page. That doesn't mean they've always figured it out. They've also all been through their own challenges. That's the beauty about it. Like Bola said, that's actually what defines it as you earn it, because you were willing to go through the pressure. But of course, when we're talking about this, we never want to talk about, yeah, these are just people that are having a friction, conflict. Can we learn some conflict resolution? No, right? Let's keep going.
Want him anymore. They want him out of the house. They have nowhere to go. And because there are no social programs in place to help men, there are social programs to help women, but there is nothing in place to help men, be it Black American.
First of all, there's a lot of social programs that men benefit from. Lots and lots. Okay. Now, is she correct that there are more social programs for women? I think that's true. I haven't checked it enough to be able to make an outright statement, but I think that's true. Okay. But it's also like, what do you expect? Also, this is a result of men creating these programs for other women who end up in bad situations with men. A lot of the atrocities that are violent in nature are committed by men in every society around the world. It is what it is. I didn't make that part up. So naturally, there have been a lot of programs that are created for women, particularly also because they have to take care of children. A lot of single women, right? Why are we so surprised about this? Well, it's a woman that's talking. Ladies, this is a woman that's talking, right? What is she doing? She's probably over consuming men content, which is fine because we need women to advocate for us too, right? But let's be guided. Let's be guided. Gentlemen, if you're listening to this kind of rhetoric and you're soaking yourself, yeah, I knew it, this is another woman talking, you will hurt yourself. You go collect. I don't think I have my you go collect sound effect together yet. Let me see. Anyway, my own thing to teach you here is that when I say Obiri, I'm talking about in every respect. Even when they're advocating for you, you have to be careful, because what builds a man, like you heard from one of your heroes, Andrew Tate, is the scars. You have to go through pressure. You have to go through, you can't really afford to be competing with women. And I keep trying to tell you that because you're not a woman. Okay? Can you have women be understanding yet from their perspective? You have to keep in mind that you need them to still be women. You need them to be women. The moment they ascend this pedestal where they have to think like a man, that's a bad idea altogether. That's not what you want. That's not what you want. This woman that you're listening to right now, she hasn't said anything wrong at all.
You're right.
She hasn't said anything wrong. But my concern is the men that will listen to this and say, yeah, I knew it. Bruh, you're short-sighted. Let's keep going.
American men, be it white American, be it our own brothers. Nobody has anything in place that can help these brothers who are being kicked out. You know, and nobody is thinking how to go, where to go, what to do to put some.
Is that really what we should be addressing? How to help our men that are being kicked out? Is that really the first question that should come up? Right? Remember, we didn't say homeless men, right? That's a different ballgame entirely. And it's also very true that there are more homeless shelters around the nation for women more than men, okay? That's also because women can easily get stranded because sometimes they put their life on hold to get in the family way, right? And sometimes when they find themselves in poto, The society also don't need them hanging around the streets anyhow. There are reasons why these things are the way they have been. Do we need some adjustments? Yes. Is this the way we are going to address it, by competing with women? No. Okay? First of all, we need to go back to why you, inside of your home as a man, you got kicked out, outside of the fact that she's just evil. If all you're thinking is that she's just evil, because that's what she sounds like, she's just a perfect woman who would never do that to a man. That's why I play. And I have this other one. Gentlemen, I'm warning you. You go collect it. All right, let me keep playing.
Type of program in place that can help these men stand on their feet that are on the streets, sleeping in their cars at the mercy of whoever will pick them up.
Okay.
She doesn't care. She doesn't care. She's taking care of her number 6, which is fine. She feels like she's contributing. She's empathizing with men. She doesn't care. She doesn't know enough to be able to care. She can't comprehend what it looks like to be a man. Okay? Do we need more homeless shelters for men, or we need to teach men how to keep their households together? Which one do you think is a priority here? What do you think happens to a whole family when a man is not able to keep his house together, especially to the extent where the woman kicked you out because she doesn't know any better? She's wrong as well, right? And she now has to call you and say, how are we going to pay this rent? What do you think is going to collect the most?
Okay. Sorry guys, I can't.
Anybody want to guess who's going to collect the most? Right? There are multiple characters in this picture. There are women, there are adults, there are men, there's an adult, and there are children, usually, right? So she calls you. She found herself in this, but all of you find yourself in Poto Poto, where she has to be calling you to ask for rent. What do you think the reaction from a typical man to that is going to be, ladies? It's going to be, go F yourself. I'm not paying no rent. What do you think is going to collect like that? Is the woman going to collect with that attitude? His children will collect. Oh, if you don't like it, you can give me the children. How do you think that's going to play out in the court of law, in family courts? Right? It's not about your feelings in this moment. It's about, number one, the children. Number two, do you have foresight? Can you see far enough? Or you're just caught up in your feelings? FR, like forget her. Like, I'm not giving her no rent money. If that's how you're moving, if that's your attitude about this situation, I don't blame you. I can see where you're coming from. But what do you think is going to collect? Woto. Who do you think is going to collect in this situation? I'm asking you.
Different from blue, Bulaba.
Oluremi says there are Salvation Army shelters for men and women who are needing help. Yes. So we're talking about in quantity. In terms of numbers, for obvious reasons, there are more of those opportunities available for women. But again, that's not exactly far-fetched from the reality. When a woman ends up on the streets, it's likely with children. That's very likely. Also, it's going to be more messier for the society at large. So I'm not exactly surprised that, we shouldn't be measuring those two things against the other, is my point, right? But you're right. There are opportunities available for men in that situation. But which one do you think is better? Preventative, is that what they call it? Measures, or measures to fix when it's already too bad, right? Yes, what are the brothers doing to lead to being kicked out? We need to know, we need preventative measures. Yeah, I guess we can talk about how to create more shelters for men too, but there are many, many other reasons why a man, including drugs, including hanging with the wrong crowd, that can make them end up being homeless. But if we're talking about getting kicked out by your wife because you went to Nigeria for Christmas and you refused to tell your wife that you were going to Nigeria for Christmas because you were separated, you were living in the same household. Somehow you think you can leave the house and come back weeks later and not get locked out, and you're suddenly surprised. Yeah, but you don't really owe her to tell her where you're going, really. Again, you're caught up in your feelings. You're not thinking it all the way through properly. You don't have foresight. It's no wonder why you're kicked out in the streets, because the way you show up in one area of life is how you show up in every other area of life. If you lack foresight, you literally lack leadership skills, right? You know, it's not the woman. I don't know if that's what you were answering. It's the children that will collect what they will do. It's the children that will collect the most. The woman is also an adult, but it's the children that will collect the most. Your own children. So when you're caught up in your momentary feelings, when your pricks start to get hard because you're listening to this woman, I want you to think it through properly, because she might be empathizing with you, but she can't really help you. She's not capable.
See every single one of your comments, but I saw this comment about that Solomon dropped. I pinned it. He says, it's not abroad marriage. It's the fact that many Nigerian women and men were groomed in a dysfunctional society. So structure and stability is the lack of freedom for them. That is a comment in marble or on marble, as the case may be. It makes a lot of sense. But you see, I'm a 46-year-old man raised in a dysfunctional society. I cannot.
You don't have to change. He said, I cannot change. You don't have to change. Change is just is. Change is the only constant. It's either you change or your environment will change. Yeah, you might get kicked out in the cold in Chicago, right? Especially that you've refused to change and you're forcing your environmental factors to change, right? That means you're not really in control. You refuse to engage the control that you can actually engage, right? You can't decide if change is going to be constant. You can decide that you don't want to change. Again, this is lack of foresight. I don't blame Daddy Freeze. It's not in this situation. He already said it's not willing to come into this situation. It doesn't ever have to come into this situation. I would definitely advise him to stay in Nigeria. But I actually take that back. I think Daddy Freeze can handle. I think there's a lot of. Auntie B doesn't like when I say it, but there's a lot of weak men. Okay, it's a lot of weak. It is what it is. They can become stronger. They can engage some strength. Okay, it is no condition is permanent. I'm being nice. Okay, there's a lot of weak men complaining about this kind of stuff. I don't think Daddy Freeze is that weak. If he needs to adjust, I've seen him talk about how to treat women. I know that he likes to treat women equally. I think it's a bad idea to some extent, depending on what we're talking about. I think you should treat women with respect. That's different from treating her equally, right? You should treat her like a human being with respect, like a human. But equally is a little tricky because some people think they have to wash butter to be equal, right? So it depends on what we're talking about. I think some of the rhetoric I've heard him say, I think he can handle it. But of course, when a bunch of weak men gather together and start telling you a story, you're like, that would never be me. Forgetting that there are some of us in this situation that we're like, you know, of course, a few ways here and there we have to adjust. We have to engage our emotional intelligence. On a perpetual level, you keep learning. It's not always what you see. There's always bigger than what you're seeing or hearing or feeling as a man. And so you understand the importance of listening actively as a function of time, a process, patience. Right? Our forefathers knew that patience was important, but more so now than ever before, you need more patience. When you're dealing with Suru laughing shock Auburn. Anything that's worthwhile in life, like women, it takes patience and it's a process. And we have a bunch of men that don't understand that. They don't understand that at a very in-depth level. Of course, they can give talking points, say, oh, it's our men to know. It's not that simple. We're talking about you, your story. We're talking about you in particular as a person at individual level, not community yet. You're the one that makes community. The community is a function of the individuals.
You understand? So I might try to bend a little, but I was raised by my father in this society, which is why when you raise children till they're above 20, till they're about 20,
Majority of people are inside their marriage and they're not on Daddy Free show complaining that they got kicked out. Now, some of them, a certain percentage of them are not in happy marriage. That's also granted. That's true. But there are many, many people enjoying their marriage. They're just not on a show. They might be listening. They don't have time. They got other things to take care of. They're taking care of their children. They're on the go. They're on Clubhouse. They're on social media listening, like radio, just like radio, right? But they might not have time. So, definitely not to come and complain about their wife. Number one, because they didn't experience it. Number two, oh, wait until you experience it. So you're assuming that everyone will experience that at some point. Who did this to us? Right? It's the assumptions. When people have gone through the worst case scenarios of stories out there, they assume everyone else will go through it. Some form of it, we've all gone through something. Maybe what you should be thinking about, some people went through it, but they came out okay on the other side. Even better, because the pressure that they went through, especially if you're a man, the pressure they went through is essentially what made them the man that they are today. You ever thought of it that way?
Chai!
I'm testing out my sound effects. Hang in there with me.
23, 25. Let them go abroad for 10 years. Let them have the values, the ideologies of Nigeria, because Nigeria too has some things that we're good at. And then let them be able to balance it abroad, and then maybe come home or stay abroad. At least they have a balance. Because some of us, I don't think I can survive a marriage abroad. I'm not sure.
I think Daddy Freeze will survive marriage abroad more than many of the men that are calling to his show. Because again, this is about character at the end of the day. It's about will. When there's will, there's a way, right? Every man should understand that. Come on now, gentlemen. Every man should write that down somewhere. Where there's a will, where there's a way. You'll figure it out. It's a challenge. Challenges are beautiful. That's what makes us as men. Since when did we start running away from a little challenge? She pushed back small. She said something a little disrespectful. What about taking that on as a challenge? You're going to show her that you are the man. Indirectly, directly. I don't know how you're going to do it. But as long as she remains a woman, your queen. Oh no, but she's not really a queen. What does that look like on you? You're supposed to be a king. When you're talking from your ass like that, you're talking from your emotions. This is your woman. What does that make you feel like when you say, no, she ain't no queen? What did that make you feel like? Did you feel better than yourself? It didn't work, right? So let's calm down, okay? Because you bring character, like Uncle Ade said earlier. She brings affection and all these things like paintings. It looks beautiful. Voila, right? You bring character, you bring structure. You're the man. You see how I do my mouth? I'm supposed to be the man, right? You don't get caught up in your emotion like, yeah, to hell with that too. You might as well just start drinking. You slap yourself in that process. You go collect. Because we're talking about your woman. We're not talking about this lady on the screen. She's speaking to your talking points. She's advocating. Shout out to her. Thank you, auntie. All right? But she's not your wife. Who knows what she's going to do if you happen to marry her and she's the one in your bed? What do you think will happen once you do a little kerewa and you don't meet up to standard? what do you think will happen? Are you thinking this all the way through properly?
You understand? Because my whole brain, I'm 46 years old. My whole brain has been tuned in a certain way by society, by religion, by culture, by ideology.
In certain respects, it's absolutely correct. But some things have to change, like change itself. It's constant. And if you know change, you go collect. Clementina says Daddy Free should have said that he's not willing to change. It's a will. That's correct. You're absolutely correct about that. But there are people that actually make it a talking point. I would never change. Nah, F that. Nah, duty over happiness. No. Really? Change now, your mates.
You understand? So it might be a bit difficult for me at this stage, especially, to be able to find focus and be able to live with. I watch abroad movies. When I see the way they fight, I'm wondering.
Daddy Freeze, movies don't count. Movies have the end. That's not real life. Even after the end, if you turn 99 and you do the end for real in life, you have a legacy. There are things that people will remember about you. This thing that never ends. That's movies. That's Hollywood and Nollywood. That's not reality. Okay? Every Nollywood and Hollywood movie ends in worst case scenario or best case scenario. That's not reality. Gentlemen, come back to reality. Challenges will force you to change. That's what we call life. That's not a bad thing. That's how we grow. It's part of our 6 basic human needs. Growth.
I can't do this. I can't do this. Someone said 22 is too late. No, 22 is okay.
In favor for men here, to be honest. It's very sad. Everything is pro women.
Statement, Binta. Somebody made a statement.
Can I give you a new idea? Anything that's pro women is pro men by default. Okay? Anything that's pro women is pro men by default. But granted, you're right. This might just be a matter of outlook on life. Your outlook on life will dictate your direction in life. You're right.
You're right.
You know, it's how you see things in life. You can see things as half glass empty or half glass full. It's just how you see things. That's literally a lot of our experiences. A lot of our experiences is not worst case scenario. Like, oh, so you got hit by a bus right now. So that's how you see things? That's a worst case scenario. That's not real life. If you were getting hit by a bus, you wouldn't be watching me live right now. You're living soft life. So you have time to complain about BS. Shout out to the lady for advocating for men. I know they drag them. I'm just giving you gentleman reality. You're going to hear a lot more of this. Women, my wife does it. They have this soft spot for men, especially if it's their son. Like, no, Kokuruma Jemolara. Like, we have to go to the farm. We have to go and work. These young men have to know, have to know that there's something called adversity in life, challenges. They have to, right? But once a woman, even if she has been on the other end of it before, once she hear your story small and say, that woman kicked you out in the street like that in the cold, like, how dare she? And she's like, no, there's nothing wrong with what she's doing. She's being a woman.
Oh, beauty. I'm coming. I want to bring the gentleman on, but I just want to quickly say this. Somebody made a statement the other day. He said, Daddy Freeze, one day a black man driving a car hit a dog in the UK, and it was dog way. I don't match dog. They go my own for Nigeria before dog.
Not here.
You not even stop.
Not
you go
here.
you go to go. What happened then? By the time the animal rights people came, do you know, one guy was there, white guy, he made a comment. He said, this guy is so unlucky. If only he had been a white woman, he would have stood a chance. And then as we're going, that was when I first started going to London in 2007 or 2008, there about 2006 more like. And the guy was with Baba, he's the guy talk to get through. See, abroad, he used London, for example. And I stand corrected. I don't live in London, but this is what someone who lives in London then said to me. He said, first, children have the most rights.
Yep.
Followed by white women. Followed by black women. Followed by animals.
Pets.
Stop the cap.
Then black men.
Pets.
So, walking the dog and the dog ran across the street, more like, and oh,
That's definitely exaggeration from the pits of hell. I'll tell you a quick story. All right. When I was 17 years old, I think. I was either 16 or 17 years old. God rest his soul, one of my best friends, Lilo. We wanted to go and get movies. If you remember in the 90s, you go rent movies, you know, those VHS tapes, right? This was in Owo, okay? This was in Owo, Ondo State, Nigeria. And we wanted to, so I went to pick him up, you know, I started driving. I was cruising around the city, you know, everybody. I was one of the few teenagers that were cruising around the cities in my dad's car at that time. It's a small city, it's like a town, small town. And, you know, we were going, and there was this small street. It's called, I remember the name right now because it's a story I will never forget, right? Iralepo, okay? Remember, we're talking about animals having rights over human beings, right? Now, I don't blame Daddy Freeze because, like you said, it doesn't live overseas. But again, when people have this worst case scenario experiences, they want to paint this picture like everyone is having these terrible experiences where they will pick animal over your life. That's cap. That's big time cap now, right? Shout out to you, Tiffany. Good to see you. Yeah. No, we've had a long stream tonight. You're kind of late, but welcome. You might want to watch from the beginning later, right? We had a guest. We have 3 guests on here today. So, but anyway, so as I was driving through Raleigh, the next thing, there's this one adie, like a fowl, and what do you call it in America? A chicken, just run across the street, right? Being an amateur driver, I just started driving at that time, so I didn't know any better. I swerved just to avoid so I don't hit the chicken, right? Guess what happened? When I swerved, my side mirror hit a little girl on the side of the street. Hit her on the head like this, gave her a cut. Okay. What do you think happened in those streets? This was dead in the middle of the village or war. What do you think happened? Okay, so I got down. I was like, let me help. Let me, you know, my friend, again, God rest his soul, right? Femi. His mother was a nurse at the time. She had her own clinic and stuff. So we wanted to carry the baby girl. She must have been around 11, 12 years old or something like that. Put her in a car and rush her to the hospital. When I came down to try to help her, did you know that the people of this street, they locked me on my shirt like this? And they started to assault me. This is in Nigeria. Okay. Now, granted, it's not exactly correlated because it wasn't because of the chicken, it was because of the child, right? All right, so we're very quick to make this. Imagine because of that experience, I just turn around and say, every city, you can. The truth is that there's a lot of, not a lot, but quite a few cities in Nigeria that if you hit a person, they said just keep driving because you don't want the people on the street. That's the part of the story that Daddy Freeze did not touch. You don't want people on the streets to catch you because they might even end up deleting you. Did you know that? Right? Who do you think has more value to human life in Nigeria or in the Western world? Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa yára one brain. Ẹ jẹ́ ká rọra máa fa igbó. Ẹ jẹ́ ká rọra máa fa igbó.
Not be juju be that.
Right? See, all of these comparisons and all this place because we don't want to address something so simple. It's very simple. Why did you get kicked out of your own household? Listen, it doesn't have to be your fault, but you need to tell us the story. You might be right.
You're right.
We need to know what happened. What happened was, tell us. Right?
So the lady sat down like the donkey happy king. You know, it was very, very saddening. So I got my here. Hello, brother. What are your thoughts? Gucci Pa. Go ahead.
Can you hear me first off?
Very clearly.
Oh, okay. Daddy Freeze, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a while that I'm trying to come to your life, and I'm so appreciative that I can come today. And so my thoughts, real quick. You know, while you were speaking with Black Mentor, you know, that was a sign that he gave. You know, if you notice very clearly, if you're like kind of attentive, you know, from where he was speaking, like from the angle he was speaking, you will understand that something was wrong even before he called Lady Natuma, or correct me if I'm wrong.
What is he talking about, Baba?
You know, earlier on, I believe it's not yet a fact. So I believe, we should just.
Because of that, what that means is that the.
All right, let's listen to this guy. Let me see.
Think about the fact that your son is going to grow up.
Oppression. So you see a man who in Nigeria is saying, "Oh, I cannot cook for my wife. I cannot cook. I cannot do this." When they go over there, they cannot take that mindset. They're like, yesterday I was speaking to one of my friends who's like in the UK, and she's like, "Solomon, do you know how much it costs to actually have a domestic staff in the UK? Like, you literally, like she was saying, some places you pay up to like 2k pounds, like a month." And because of that, what that means is that the both of them, like parents, would be actively involved in the lives of their kids. Or do you get what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two, obviously, like the men, they go there with like so much rigid mindset and all of that. And because of a place that there is structure, they can easily get caught and everything. That's number one. Number two, the women, the truth remains, a lot of women might deny and say, "Oh, it's not wrong," or whatever. I feel like a lot of women actually grew up with so much bitterness that they want to retaliate, to even innocent men. So
how true is that? A lot of women grew up with a lot of bitterness. Is that true? The key word is a lot, right? The key word is a lot. Clementina says, "I can't believe what this woman is saying. Women are just beginning to equalize around social inequality for decades." Exactly. And some of the people that are helping with that are men. So let's not forget that too, that it's actually men that are putting these programs together for the most part, because some men have corrected. They can see that we need to take care of our women, right? So, and yes, there might have been an off shoot or some overshooting ahead or something like that, and men need help too, but we still got to bring that down to individual level. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it individual level. For example, if you come to me and say, I'm homeless because my wife kicked me out. Your wife kicked you out, so you have a home? Yeah, but we're fighting right now because we're having an argument. Okay, let's talk about how to help you and your wife. Some counseling or something like that. Let's talk about that. No. She kicked me out of the house. Men need to have their own shelter. Conversation, no, they line up properly. It's two different conversations. But what do? Black men, what do? We mix up all of this conversation instead of us to learn how to deal with one issue at a time. You got kicked out last night. So there's an issue going on in your marital relationship. Do you want us to talk about that? Or you want to move on? Okay, that means you have money to go and rent Airbnb or hotel for a few days before you get an apartment. No, 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 no. I don't. Okay, what? Which one are you talking? Because this is not a homelessness issue, Auntie. This wasn't a homelessness issue. Okay, we're mixing too many things up together at the same time. For decades, social systems have been structured around men. Well, I don't know about that. What I know is that in a lot of cases, I don't know the numbers, men and women and children need it more for obvious reasons. There's no need to argue with that. I've never had to use one personally, so I can't speak too much to it. But it makes sense to me that there are more structures that are built for women and children. From a social and welfare standpoint, that part makes sense to me. It makes sense. Like there's no need for men to use that as a talking point to compete with the women. In any society, if there are situations where there's an increasing number of men that need a shelter, let's talk about that. Let's come up with programs from a solution-oriented standpoint. There's no need to drag your women of your community under the bus while you're talking about that. This is not linked to women who are for the streets or people who want to do slut shaming. No, it's not linked. Oh, Jorawan.
You see them with a lot of like pent-up frustration,
Single
bitterness,
mothers.
and when they go abroad, it's more like they want to prove a point to men.
This is not linked to women with pent-up, what did they call it? Frustration from watching their father did something to. This is not linked together. Okay, I see where it's coming from. Okay, I get it. It's linked in his opinion because that's why they overreact when their husband misbehaves. Can we talk about the misbehave part? Or nothing happened, she's just taking her frustration from my childhood out on the man. Can that happen? Yes. Is that most of these cases? No. Most of these cases are what he said in the beginning. Men thinking that I can't change. No, you will change by force. You will be kicked out on the street by force, by fire. Some kind of change will happen. That's all I'm trying to tell you. And when you end up in that family court, it's not built for you, remember? It's built to protect women and children. You go collect. By the way, ladies, yours is worse. It's elongated. You might think you're collecting alimony and child support because your friend told you that, oh, yeah, just collect it from me. Come on. That's not enough to take care of children, oh. Did you know that? The best thing for you is to nurture your relationship. As long as we're not talking about a situation where you're feeling abused, the best thing is to lean in to see what he's trying to say. Find out what his mumu button is. There's something he cares about. Find out what that is and use it to build that home for you and your family. Okay? Most men are not scums. Newsflash, hello. They're not. They're people they're men of prestige, trying to get to work 9 to 5 every day, trying to make a living, a little bad habits here and there. He snores at night. He's just a man of prestige. He's just trying to get through life. You think it's better on the other side? You really do? Yeah? Let's keep going.
And obviously, the way like the Western world has been structured is just a way that, just like you said, the woman actually comes first, and then the child actually comes first, or the children, then the woman, before you talk about like pets and all of that, before the men. This is standard. Anybody who's...
The pet stuff is stupid. It's just stupid exaggeration and in very a numbskull talking points. Okay? It is. And it's not Daddy Free's fault. He's been watching too much Hollywood movies. They save dogs in the movies. That's BS. I see animals get hit on the highway every day. Like you see blood on the highway. They will clean it, yes, in about 2 hours or less. Because this is abroad. I get it. But they get hit all the time. And nobody is questioning anybody with... No, they don't have social security numbers, okay? That's exaggerations.
Arguing this is just I don't know. It's just
So
socially obtuse. I'm sorry.
Solomon, you're saying that she gets liberated and empowered because they're pro women and she's able to access.
Pro women doesn't mean anti women. Pro men does not mean anti women. Right? Pro women does not mean anti men. Again, this whole issue is mainly mindset. It's just mindset. Okay. Granted, you've gone through some experience and your mindset is coughed up. I get it. But hey, you're an adult. At some point, you're gonna have to get it together and start seeing things half glass full as opposed to half glass empty. It's your perspective in life, I promise you. Listen, everyone has a terrible story they could tell you that will make you feel like, this is happening to men. You'll die. Everyone has something. But some decide to you know what? It's not all bad. Yeah, it's not that bad. Let me do something about this. I can't feel bad, but let me do something. Like maybe I can actually put my energy into creating a solution, as I should. Anyway, right? Because she kept saying pro woman. If you are slow as a man, sorry, I'm looking for better words as we move forward. If you are slow, what do you do when you hear that? Yeah, I know it. Everything is pro woman. We're talking about your woman. Your own woman.
Whatever pent up emotion she's had over the.
Let me read in our comments. Tiffany says, these people are constantly thanking Daddy Fritz for inviting them on his platform. He can never return with the "you're welcome" or chai. Manners make it man. Daddy Fritz, you think Daddy Fritz care about this book? Daddy Fritz don't care about this book like that. Not just to try to feed his family. Not true at all. Nibolatun Jasi retaliate ke. The pay is peanuts. Like nobody's waking up every day to call unless you are Puff Daddy. How many of you are married to Puff Daddy? You don't collect $6,000 per month. Even that one. Did you see the song came out? 50 Cent song came out years later to say 6,000 wasn't nothing. The whole public was trying to drag him, but it was nothing for that name. Right? It's spoiled brat entitled as shit, but still, it's nothing, right? When you pay attention to people's lifestyle, I don't care how many multiple six figures you make, you're probably going to build a lifestyle around it, and then you end up with paycheck to paycheck anyway. But ask the people that are doing it, most of them.
Years, right? Growing up.
Exactly. And this is one of the problems that I have with this whole pro-black women movement. It is absolute bullocks. Sorry, I'm going to say this. It's absolute nonsense.
I'm paying attention to this guy. I think he has some other stuff that he'd be talking about that he really shouldn't be speaking to. But I'll pay attention to him. He definitely doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about. So I'll let me hear more. Let me see.
Because what they teach these women is how to be so vindictive in their homes.
Now it's true. There are some extreme platforms on the internet that's teaching women how to be vindictive. Okay. But if you use this as your reason to castigate your woman, you go collect whatever. Okay. If you use this and you cast it on your situation without assessing it like a man, right? If you use the Cynthia G's, if you use any toxic femininity platform to decide that this is what your woman has been paying attention, she's been watching Housewife Atlanta, you attract what you fear the most. All right? You're a spirit. Okay? You're a whole God. You will attract what you fear the most. Exactly the way you're picturing, that's exactly how it's going to play out. Because you're looking for it. Okay? Your energy will attract that energy. Right? See, you don't see Were Abi, she go show you Were. Right? The woman is a powerful thing. If it's a thing.
Oh, beauty.
Woman will be your mate. That doesn't mean you should worship them. That's not what I'm talking about. For those of us that are all the way in the back, what it means is that you should pay attention beyond your feelings. Your feelings are no good enough. You need to pay attention to other people's feelings, especially if you call them wife. You have more power than you realize. Ladies, you have more power than you realize. But you can't engage the power if all you're busy doing is listening to toxic masculinity or toxic femininity platforms. Okay? You can't, because you just feel like the world is out to get you. Matrix, they're out to get you. Let me protect myself, right? Matrix is real if you say it is real. Okay? I agree with you 100%. But that's what you're going to spend all your energy on, defending yourself against the matrix. Guess what else will be drowning while you're spending all your energy defending yourself against the matrix? All of your personal relationships. Your relationship with your wife, with your children, with your loved ones, a quality life, right? Listen, I'm trying to correct my English. There's always been Egbe Kilo Crochet even before there was internet. You thought that was new with the internet, didn't you? No, it's always been there. Egbe Kilo Crochet, a group of women who don't care about what their husband goes to. It's always existed. What is one of the oldest profession in the world, right? You want to slush him? You want to slush him now? You want to start now? Because suddenly Instagram is making them bigger. Okay, waste all your energy then on the wrong type of people. They've always existed. Nobody you go chase them out of this world. You're just going to waste energy swimming against the trend of an ocean. You will drown. Your family will drown with it. As opposed to face forward. Your wife, your husband, this person was probably not in the street when you met them. Something happened. Maybe your pride will not let you see that you're part of what is happening. Listen, I don't know how we got here, but I'm willing to listen. You know, I want us to work on this marriage. No, I don't want to work on the marriage. Okay, let me know if you change your mind. It's not a do or die, okay? Just by being comfortable in your own skin and saying that, it's all that's needed sometimes. What do most people do? I knew it. You came to Yankee to come and destroy my life, Abby. Oi?
Hey! I hear me, by me. Apostle, we hear of this.
Chiye say all caught up now after an interruption. Hey, Chiye, what did you do? Increase the speed or something? Good to see you. Yeah. Most people change their mind when they hit rock bottom. We all do. But your rock bottom might be too late. Why not make now your rock bottom like you're just tired of it? Like, hey, I know that I can live a better life. I know that, listen, I'm the one that married her. I married her. Yes, she's upset. She's all over the place. She's messy. She's being rude and disrespectful. But I'm the king. I can do this. I'm going to make her submit to me again. There's a few things I need to learn. You make her. She doesn't decide that. You make her respect you. Because how? Because you're going to earn it. You suddenly understand, like, everything worthwhile in life, you have to earn it. You're not going to command your voice like, but are you? Right? You understand, like, hey, you have to have the keys. Kokoro. You understand that you're trying to use Gidigba when you try to shame all of Nigerian women in abroad by saying they just come here and they want to destroy their husband. Like, you are capping big time. That's a lie now. Can't you see that your mouth is red? You're lying. There are people that have better experience. You know that you are capping big
Stop
time.
the cap.
Oh, Ola, just wait until you experience it. I won't, because I don't have that mindset. What happens if your wife says she don't want to do anymore? I say, let me know when you change your mind. So you're just going to be waiting for, I never said that. I never said I will be waiting for her. I just said I'll tell her, let me know when you do change your mind. Letting me know doesn't mean I'll be available. So what's the price then, Ola? I feel like I'm the price. So what if she feels like she's the price? She has the freedom to feel like she's the price. I want women who feel like they're their price. I like confident women. They're sexy as hell. Why is it that you don't think this way? It's not your fault. We're soft. We're getting soft. We want to become women. Will it work? It is not going to work. You get it?
Men out. The ultimate thing is to have them kicked out of the house.
Exactly,
And promote
exactly.
you do not need a man. You could do better by yourself. You do not need a man. You know, whatever man can do, I can do it, and so on. And the truth is that we do need our men. We do need our men.
Yeah, exactly. And you see, somebody also do it. Let me tell you, there is
so what does obere means? I'll let you. Is this woman I'm playing it for? Women will tell you all this nice thing when they want to advocate for you until they start doing kirewa with you in bed, and then the story will change. I'm trying to tell my brothers, like, calm down with that. All that you need her to be adults. That's not what you want. Okay, she's already an adult, but she's also a woman who is doing kirewa with you in bed. Yes, she'll get caught up in her feelings, and your patience will be tested. Does that mean I should be kicked out in the cold? No, you need to tell me the truth of what happened. What happened before you got kicked out? Tell me the full story. Egbon, saw the full story too. Tell me the full story. Mabiro.
the wide margin. You can't compare an immigrant in the US who's trying to get his papers or who's trying to, get what's it called, a very stable state, to someone who's actually a citizen of that country. You can't compare, even if the person is out of their house.
It's making a good point there. Remember I said that yesterday. If somebody is filing paperwork for you, they will be on the edge a little bit. Gentlemen, that should be your expectation. If it's not your expectation, you have unrealistic expectations. That's why you're collecting woto.
They have family. Do you see what I'm saying? They have family to go to. They have friends. They have
a support system. Exactly. They have a very strong support system.
Exactly. So you cannot be telling me, but whites also get kicked out like that does not, logically, that does not even match up. But just like I was talking about the whole pro women stuff, you see that.
Anyway, I just heard pro women again. I'm done. We're done with this. Yay! It's 8 o'clock, 8:02. A little overtime today. We're done with this. Let's just call it today. I married her and you must obey. No, it's the mindset. I married her. I'll make her submit by way of attraction, seduction, not kiziba. A woman doesn't decide she wants to obey you. If she's feeling safe and secure, she looks like she's obeying. She's in love with you. That's what you're looking for, not to obey. I just obey. Sounds lame and dumb. Okay, what you're looking for is a woman who is in love with you. That other lame man on the other side will say she's obeying you, but actually you're just that good at your game. That's all it is, right? She didn't decide it. You get to take all the credit for it. You take all of the credit for it. Okay? And if somebody help you, speak to her, sense to her, say, obey your husband. It's only a matter of time, because it's you, your shadow. It will show up again, because it's not authentic. It's not coming from an authentic place, because it's still you, right? And this time it will be worse, because you just went a little bit extra higher before you actually fall. You will fall harder. Okay? Seduction, attraction. If she's in love with you, the lames will look at it and say she's obeying. No. Okay? No. That's what it looks like to the lames. You got game. Okay? You're a man of prestige. Ladies, you got game. You're part of the prestige family. You know exactly what to do. If you don't, you're willing to learn it. Right? To make him come and lay his hand on your shoulder every night, instead of going to go and park at some side chick's house every night. You know exactly what to do. If you do anything else outside of that, you go collect. because it won't last. We're in 2023. Don't forget that. Not 1963. You go collect. Okay? You will collect big time. All right? So yes, I do have some sound effects that I'm testing out. I'll be getting used to them over the next few shows. She looks like Daddy Frit's sister or cousin. That auntie. Thank you, auntie, but nah. Thank you, but nah. Men needs to be men. Okay? When we hear as men of Prestige, when we hear pro woman, we hear pro men. Okay? Because it's multiplication. It's coming right back at us. Like, what do you want me to tell you? That's just how it works, right? We don't compete with our ladies. We don't do that. We don't play that game. Okay? It's okay that you feel that way. You're a woman. That's okay.
Oh, beauty.
All right? But no. We know that there's something we need to learn, and we need to stay on top of our game as men. Ladies, he said, and all this pandering will be out the freaking window. Yeah. See, on both sides, men that pander to women don't want them. Women that pander to men don't want them. So we definitely have to be guided when it comes to that. If somebody says you're guided, just make sure you're coming from the heart and you know what you're talking about. But if you're truly pandering because you want to be a panty collector, they don't like that. Women don't like that. Women like to feel like you're a man. Men of Prestige, like to feel like you are a woman. Okay? We need to stop pro men or women and establish what the causes of the problems are and educate people of how to resolve their issues. Yes, we need to get down to the issues. Exactly. Obedience. Now, mindset. That's correct. That's just who is observing it. Oh, she's obedient to her husband. Really? My own wife is not obedient to me. Remember that guy yesterday on Daddy Free Show? Like I see my friend's wife, they're obedient. No, bro, you lack game. Your game no work, brother. You need to step your game up. You're right, she's obedient, but it's a function of the man showing up like a man. Okay? So, it's hard for me to call it obedience because it sounds like, a woman just wake up one day and decide that no matter what happens in that marriage, I'm just going to be obedient. That just means you don't know women, and that's part of your problem.
Oh, beauty.
I call it a day. Let's call it a day here. 8:07. Thank you so much. On the weekends, only if there's any crazy trending news. Okay? On the weekends, only if there's crazy trending news, then I'll have to show up. But if nothing, we have some videos we're releasing on tomorrow. We got videos, so make sure you're watching those videos. Shout out to you, the Prestige family. I appreciate you. You guys are winning big time. We just hit 2,070 subscribers. We're going for 100,000. Okay, so we're doing well. The trajectory is right there. So we're going very, very fast. So I want to appreciate you. Like the Jamaicans said, big up yourself, clap for yourself. I have a very small sound effect here that I can use. There you go. So shout out to you. I appreciate you. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.